Hello, I'm Tupper, Head of Community for VRChat. These are the video patch notes for VRChat 2023.1.2. This update focused on a ton of bug fixes and quality of life improvements to existing features. There's a lot of exciting stuff in here that'll make it easier for you to use VRChat. So let's get straight into it, starting with the improvements. First off, we have added texture VRAM as a performance stat for avatars. Previously, this was listed in the avatar stats display in VRChat, but it didn't contribute it to your performance rank. Now it does. I'll put the ranks to the side here so you can see how it scales out. Here's how it works. Every texture on your avatar eats up a little bit of video memory, and every avatar that you see also has to have some memory too for their textures. If you have too much loaded, then you fill up all of the memory available to your headset or GPU, and bad things happen. Your frame rate might drop, or in the worst case, VRChat might crash. Keep in mind that the world that you're in uses this memory too. In fact, lots of things use VRAM, anything that the video card needs to render your view. Things like shaders, meshes, blend shapes. We'll get to those with later features. For now, and to put it very simply, the amount of memory that your textures use depends on the sum total of the resolution of all of your textures. So let's say that you have 4 textures that are 1K, or 1024 pixels wide by 1024 pixels tall. So then you're using up a certain amount of texture space. In this example, that space is equivalent to a single 2K texture, since you can fit 4 1K textures into the same space that a 2K texture can fit into. Before you ask, no, crunch does not help here. Crunch compression only helps with download size. These textures must be decompressed before the video card can use them. Even then, crunch can negatively affect the quality of your textures and sometimes doesn't even offer that much benefit over the default compression of asset bundles. So anyways, we did a bunch of research and analytics to determine where these numbers ended up. For example, on PC, we took a look at the hardware most commonly used in VRChat and in VR rigs. We also took a look at where most people spend their time in VRChat and how many other people are present with them. Using that information, we came up with these limitations. We also did the same exercise for the Quest 2, since you only have about 4 GB of memory available on that headset. If you want to learn more, check out our developer update from the 16th of February. We go into more detail there. Check the description for a link. Next up, we have improved overall portal behavior. The change itself is pretty technical, but you can think of it like this. Before, every user had to agree on the state of a portal. If a single person said, "Nuh-uh, this violates the portal placement rules," then the portal could be destroyed or desync between users. So we've changed it up so that the authority on portals is server side. That's not exactly technically correct, but close enough for the explanation. This change should make portals a lot more stable, and we should be able to solve issues where portals disappear or desync between different people. One change with this is that sometimes it might be possible for a portal to be dropped too close to you. In this case, the portal will be surrounded by an orange overlay, and you won't be able to interact with it or go through it until you move away first. Locally, you're still, of course, prevented from dropping a portal too close to someone, but lag or other conditions might cause that orange portal to appear. Additionally, Friends Plus portals now default to unlocked mode, so anyone can see them when you drop them, even if you're not friends with them. This was the more commonly used mode, so we just made things a little bit easier. Next up, we've changed the Earmuffs feature. The Earmuffs feature can now take the shape of a cone. This cone has you at the point, with the spread pushing out in front of you. This means that the range of your earmuffs is shorter behind you and farther when in front of you. This can help you focus on conversations in front of you and a bit to your side too, supporting things like conversation circles. You can adjust the size and shape of this cone using the earmuff settings. Internally, we've been calling this the cozy earmuffs mode. In addition, you can see on someone's nameplate now when they have earmuffs enabled, making it easier to tell why someone can't hear you when you're trying to get their attention. Speaking of nameplates, we've made some internal adjustments to nameplates, improving their performance and making it easier for us to iterate on them in the future. This includes some minor offset fixes to group banners and the blue voice indicator that appears when people speak. As a side note, this is not a fix to the unusual alignments that you have to deal with when making group banners. We know about that issue, but this fix doesn't address that quite yet. We know there are quite a few community created guides and templates out there that help with that alignment process, but we want to fix it so that a guide isn't necessary, or at least make it a part of the banner creation process so you can produce a consistent banner. We've also improved the avatar hide by distance and hide by count features, so when you're adjusting their range, you get a visual aid as appropriate. We've also added a toggle to turn the effect on or off without changing your set value. It's kind of like a mute button on an audio slider. That way you can have the settings set to a value you like and then just turn the system on or off without losing that saved value. The action menu size and opacity can now be set with a radial slider instead of discrete fixed steps. You can precisely adjust them to a value you like most. Please note that scaling will be reset to the current medium value when initially launching this new version, so you might have to go back in and tweak it back to your liking. We've added constraints as a non-ranked avatar performance stat with a recommended maximum of 15 constraints of any type. In our dev update from February 16th, we talked about some interesting findings regarding constraint performance. The TLDR version, they're not cheap like free as we assumed before. In fact, they can be quite expensive considering how many constraints we see some avatars and prefabs using. As a side note, this is why we have not enabled constraints on the Quest. They're too heavy on the CPU. Check out the dev update for more information, research, and discussion. Additionally, we've greatly improved the Udon loading performance when entering a new world. This one's pretty easy to explain. We made world loading faster. You can now take pictures with the stream camera. Again, it's a pretty straightforward quality of life fix. Currently in the beta, you just simply hold the stream camera and click the trigger. However, this does interfere with a previous feature with pins. We're fixing that and changing it so that these features don't intersect with each other. Finally, we've added the VelocityMagnitude avatar parameter. This is similar to the velocity X, Y, and Z parameters, but instead just simply gives you a total magnitude of velocity. There's a few other minor improvements in this version, but most of them have to do with internal optimizations and some future proofing. Take a look at the full patch notes linked in the description for more information. So, let's talk about fixes. There are a ton in this update. Like last time, I'm just going to cover the major ones, but our team has done a lot of hard work patching things up. If you want more, check out the description for a link to the full patch notes. First off, we fixed some issues with the camera, such as the display staying white when you close it too quickly after you take a photo, and the multi-layer camera being incorrectly locked behind a VRChat Plus subscription. We also fixed some issues with the icon camera and issues where newly taken user icons would not render properly in the menu. We also fixed Fizzbone's jittering when is animated was enabled in some situations, and we also fixed Fizzbone colliders on fingers not respecting custom capsule heights. We also fixed the clear local profile data option in the menu where it wouldn't correctly reset some options. We have fixed some, but not all, issues with user locations not being correct in your social menu. There's still some remaining issues with this, and we're working on fixing them. We fixed an issue that caused crashes when you disconnected multiple audio devices at the same time. We fixed an issue with portal placement when no valid surface was detected, and an issue causing the portal placement marker getting stuck in place when you were looking at those invalid surfaces. We fixed the shuffle button in the random category of the worlds menu. It shuffles. Yeah. As noted before, there are a bunch more fixes, but this is the bulk of them. So that's it for this release. Thank you for the excellent feedback on the last video, honestly. We're glad that you liked the video patch notes. We'll continue doing these and improving and iterating them over time. It may not just only be me doing these, may have some additional guests performing these video patch notes and updates, but we'll see. If you want to get a closer look at upcoming features, just like last time, I'm going to tell you to check out our dev updates. We publish them every Thursday in the afternoon Pacific time on our Ask forums. You can get to our forums by going to ask.vrchat.com. You can log in with your VRChat account, or you can just lurk and read the dev updates. Thanks. We'll see you next time. Cool. Good enough. Damn, one shot. I'm getting good at these.